Hi there. This video is going to be a short Q&A, just answering some of the questions that I've been getting over this hike that I'm doing. For those of you who don't know me, I'll give a broader introduction, but there is an introduction video. And then for those of you that know me and are following my journey, but you don't know anything about hiking the AT, I'll be answering some of your questions about how that works. First, a brief introduction of myself. I grew up in the Atlanta, Georgia area, actually in a small town called Stockbridge, Georgia, just south of Atlanta. Grew up on a small family farm with my two sisters, and we had goats for pets, and every year for a season, we would go on vacation to Florida with my family, and then my mom, my grandmother, and my two sisters and I would go up to the North Georgia mountains for a little vacation. And on those vacations, that's when I fell in love with the Appalachian Mountains. I love taking the twisting, winding roads. My sisters and I, we love playing in the little creeks that the roads wound alongside of, and I fell in love with that. And then when I was older, in junior high, I went to a camp with my friend Ardith at the time. And in that camp, they took us on a couple overnight backpacking trips. And one of those was on the Appalachian Trail near Blood Mountain. And if you ever talk to Ardith, she would tell you that my performance on that hike was not that great. I think I whined and one of the counselors ended up carrying my pack. But I fell in love with the idea of hiking. And that's where I got the desire to hike the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine. It sounded like the biggest adventure, and I'm someone who loves adventure. And so that's where I got the desire to do this hike growing up. And it's been in the back of my mind all my life. And then when folks started vlogging their hikes, I was obsessed. I couldn't stop watching them, and I realized it's possible for me to hike this trail also. So now I am doing that. A bit more about me is that I went to the University of Georgia. I studied computer science. I worked for a computer vendor in Atlanta, and in working for that vendor, I met my husband. He and I had pretty much the same role. He was working in Toronto and I was working in Atlanta. And after a year and a half of long distance dating, I moved to Toronto, and I've been living in Toronto ever since. Here's a picture of my family. Since COVID, we've not been able to see each other as much as we'd like. And because COVID's going on, it also makes the perfect time for me to just get away and do this hike. I believe that I'm going to be safe in the forest hiking, and hopefully by the time the hike's over, we'll be able to live more normally and see more of one another. So I think that the hike is a little bit of a getaway, and also just a perfect time for me to accomplish this life goal and adventure that I've been thinking about. A lot of people ask me, what do you eat when you're hiking for 6 months? And that's pretty easy to answer. It has to be things that are non-perishable and light. And for me, starting out, I think that, my breakfast will probably always be oatmeal, my lunch will be protein bars, and my dinner will be ramen noodles or those backpacker meals that you simply boil water and add to the package. That's what I'm starting out with. I'm sure that over the 6 months, I'll grow tired of some of those things and I'll find new and different things to eat. And I am vlogging this, so as I make changes, I'll include that. But right now, that's what I am planning to eat. Another question I always get asked is, you have to carry everything you need. And the Appalachian Trail crosses roads, and you have the opportunity to stop in trail towns along the way every 3 to 5 days or at different intervals and purchase more food. So generally, you never have to carry more than 5 days worth of food at any given time. Another question that folks ask me is, where will you get water to drink? So the trail crosses water quite often, and the books that guide you and the apps that guide you actually tell you where those water sources are. So when you get water, you know how far that water has to last you until you next get to water. And when you collect the water, there's a couple different filter options. I'll be filtering with the Catadine Be Free, where you filter the water to make sure it's safe to drink. So you don't have to carry a lot of water. I will be carrying a bladder so that when I stop at the end of the day for dinner and for breakfast, I can have more water with me, but I don't plan to carry more as I'm hiking than what I need just to get to the next water source. A lot of my friends ask, you're hiking solo, you're gonna be all by yourself in the wilderness? And the truth of the matter is, when you hike the Appalachian Trail, there's so many people hiking the trail that you're never really truly alone. You constantly are passing other hikers. When you camp, you're generally camping in some of the same areas. So if you don't want to be completely alone, you don't have to be. There's enough people who are doing the same thing as you that you can be in constant contact with them. But if you want those times of solitude, you can, move your tent to other areas or stealth camp, which means, camp at areas that are not predefined campsites in the sections of trail that allow that. In busy sections, they do ask you to camp in designated areas to limit impact on the trail and the surrounding area. So I will never be completely alone. There will be people around that I will be able to meet, chat with, and hike with. I've been watching other thru hikers for many years as they vlog their journey. And one of the things that they've said that I've taken to heart is to know the reasons that you're doing the hike, so that when you encounter those days that are really difficult, whether you're tired or hungry or cold or wet, that you can reflect on that, and that will get you through. And so for me, the reasons that I'm doing it are, first, that I love hiking. I love the challenge of it. I love seeing what's around the bend. I love being in nature. I have a tree fetish. I adore trees and rocks and mountains, and I want to see every bit of that all the way from Georgia to Maine. The other reason is I like the physical challenge. Some of you will know that I've lost 98 pounds in preparation for this hike, and I love a good challenge. And so it will be a challenge to see if I can make it all the way to Maine. And then there's the deeper reason, and that is that, I believe that there is a God who is in control. He is sovereign, and He will provide all that I need. I know this in my daily life, but often I let myself forget that and get distracted. And I believe that when I'm on this journey, all the distractions of life will be removed, and I'll be able to just learn how to take each day as it comes, accept it for what it is, and know that He's in control. I'm not. So much in daily life, I get distracted by thinking I can control an outcome, thinking I can, thinking I have control that I know that I don't. And I am aware, and I have the desire to surrender that control and just live each day as it comes. And I think that the trail will be a good place to help train me to do that. So what have I been doing leading up to this hike? I did leave and fly into Atlanta a little more than a week before my hike was to start. And I did that so that I could visit family and friends before I got on trail. With COVID, I have not been able to come to Atlanta, which I like to come here once or twice a year if I'm able to visit family and friends. I had a trip to Destin, Florida with my youngest sister. We had a great time relaxing and just getting caught up on life and enjoying the beach, the sunshine, and even the rain. We had a fair bit of rain. So I did that. I came back into Atlanta and got together. I was able to see my cousin. I was able to go out for dinner with a friend, And now I'm going to be heading up to Jasper with my roommates, my old roommates, and so that we can have some time together before they actually drop me on the trail. So it's been lovely to get together and visit with folks, and I'm looking forward to the time with my roommates up in Jasper, and so excited that they are able to drop me on the trail. That's my lunch. Have my breakfast.
Bye.